Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm going to spend about the next 10 to 15 minutes sharing with you what to expect for the upcoming showcase for the Future City experience. We'll talk about your role in the showcase, resources available to support you, and the logistics of the day. I first want to start by saying thank you. You're part of something big. We're changing the conversations around engineering and STEM, helping to connect kids to role models like you and showing them what's possible. We hear from educators and students all the time how much of an impact your stories have. I also wanted to recognize that you've really stepped up and helped out during some very challenging times. I'm sure some of you are dealing with your own COVID-related challenges, and it's been hard for the educators and the students. They've shown their own resilience as they work through this program despite a turbulent education system. High five to everyone. So here is the agenda for the showcase. On the day of the event, May 5th, we get started at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Please pay attention to your time zones. This event is graciously being hosted by Ontario Tech University here in Ontario, so we are defaulting to Eastern Time. Please make sure you know what time you need to be available. The event will start with an opening ceremony where we'll hear from some guest speakers. From there, we move into the assessment portion of the event. This is where you'll be helping out. Each mentor will be assigned to a breakout room. There will be 2 or 3 mentors per room. We're calling you the engineering panel. And as well, there will be a representative from Ontario Tech University who will be there to help out with logistics and that sort of thing. There will be 3 rounds of assessments. The first one starts at 12:30 Eastern Time, followed by the second round at 1:15, and finally the third round at 2. We have deliberately built in some buffer time to account for any delays. Then we'll all come back together at 2:40 for some closing comments. As I mentioned, your role in the showcase is to be a panelist in a breakout room. You'll stay in the same room for all 3 rounds. At the start of the round, the students will enter the room, do their presentation. Their presentation is not to exceed 7 minutes. So I suggest delegating someone to be the timer. You could potentially give that job to the Ontario Tech support person in your room. After they finish their presentation, you'll do a live Q&A with the students. This is an opportunity for you to dig a little deeper into their understanding of their designs and find out more about their experiences. They will likely be nervous, so be kind. These are 10 to 12-year-old kids. After you've asked them some questions, you'll have some time for a panel discussion. This is time to talk amongst yourselves before you'll return back to the students to share your feedback. I'm going to go through each of these sections in a little more detail now so you know what to expect and what tools that you have available to you to help with each part. During the student presentations, you'll be using a rubric to help you make decisions about the type of feedback that you'll be giving them. Reminder, this is not a competition. This is a showcase, a celebration of all the hard work that's gone into these designs over the last few months. These are kids in grades 6, 7, and 8, so be kind. If they're struggling with something or they seem unsure, please step in and be supportive. You may also see in some cases, student groups haven't been able to fully complete their models. We've heard from some teachers that some of the groups have been unable to fully complete these models due to kids being sent home from school or for remote schooling. We've encouraged them to submit something anyway. You can give them feedback on what they've done so far. You can make suggestions. You can encourage them to continue what they've started. Tell them they're showing resilience by working on a challenging project despite these difficult circumstances. After the students finish their presentation, you will have some time for a live Q&A. We will be providing you with a Q&A sheet. So each panelist should pick one or two questions off the sheet to ask the students. The goal here is to have a conversation with them. We want you to go beyond just their rehearsed presentations and try to hear more about their experience and what they've learned. We really want them to be curious, and they're going to be nervous, so try and keep that in mind. You might want to start off with an easy question, something to help them feel more comfortable. We want them to leave this experience feeling excited that they got to interact with you. Following the Q&A, you will have a few minutes to chat together as a group. Don't spend too much time overthinking things. Remember, it's not a competition. Your goal during the panel discussion is to come to a consensus on your final recommendation. There are two options: ready to launch and test and redesign. Again, it's not a competition, so don't overthink. Use the rubric that we will provide you to help you make this decision. Once you've come to a consensus, you will meet with the students again to give them some constructive feedback and let them know your recommendation. You can use that rubric that we're going to give you to also help you come up with comments and feedback for the students. This is also a great opportunity to introduce the concept of engineering as a regulated profession. Tell students that their design will be stamped just like real engineers. You can let them know that as engineers, they have a responsibility to keep people safe and healthy, which is one of the reasons that these kinds of reviews are very important. Once you've had a chance to share your feedback, you are actually going to stamp their designs as either ready to launch or test and redesign. To do that, you will share one of two links with the students. This is the link that you will share if the recommendation is ready to launch. It's a 60-second animation of a stamp with some comments about engineering and the engineering design process. This is the link that you will share if the recommendation is test and redesign. Similar to the first one, it's a short video of a stamp with some comments about engineering and the engineering design process. That's about it. Here is a summary of the important resources that you'll need to have ready with you on the day of the event. So please bookmark them or print them out, whatever works best for you. We are still in the process of finalizing the schedule for the day or for the mentors, essentially which mentor will be assigned to which room. So we will get that to you as soon as it's available. There's just a few other things to note. When the students are not presenting, they are going to be invited to join other student groups in a weight room. In these weight rooms, students will be playing engineering games and participating in fun engineering activities. For example, if a student group presents in round 1, then in round 2, they'll be invited to a weight room where they will go through a bunch of different engineering activities. And then in round 3, they would be invited to a different weight room where, again, they will get to participate in a set of fun engineering activities. There's nothing you need to do for this part. but I thought it would be helpful for you to know what's going on outside of your breakout rooms. There is one exception that might come up. We do have some student groups that cannot be at the event live. So we are allowing them to pre-record their presentations. In those cases, you will be notified and you will simply be watching the recording in your breakout room and giving your feedback, which will all be recorded and sent back to them. Lastly, in the event of technical difficulties, there are a few things that you can do. Your first line of defense is the Ontario Tech representative that is assigned to your particular breakout room. If you're unable to reach that person, Ontario Tech has an IT support person on standby for this event. You can reach out to Mike Persaud. I recommend making a note of his email address so that you have it on hand just in case. Thanks again for joining us for this program and helping students across Canada learn more about engineering. As always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out.